nonsense. Let's talk MindSense. I'm your host Meena J.
मन की बातें तो होती रहेंगी. Keep watching MindSense. मैं हूँ आपकी host Sarita Chand.
And today in the studio with us is Sumit Sharma. Welcome back.
Welcome, Sumit.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I know we had you in the studio before, but just give us a recap of who Sumit is.
So who Sumit is?
Big question.
So just a little bit about myself. I work for BC Corrections. I've been working there for about close to 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm also a member of Team Canada for powerlifting. So just a little bit about powerlifting. I compete in bench press only. I'm a member of Team Canada in powerlifting. So before COVID happened, I was selected to represent Canada and compete at the World's Powerlifting Championship. But obviously, as you know, COVID happened and that got cancelled.
Yeah.
So when that got cancelled, me and my sponsors, we all decided to give back to the community. So we went to local hospitals, donated food supplies there. And then we started going to local schools, donating food supplies there. So all the funding that was going to go towards me to go to the event was actually put towards food items for healthcare workers and teachers. So we've been doing that since over a year now, and even though COVID's still going on, the events are carrying on with powerlifting. So this next month in October, I'll be representing Canada in Costa Rica and hopefully win gold at the event.
Yes, definitely. So Sumit, I know, like we said, you have been with us, but let's talk a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah.
And then if you can also tell us what got you into powerlifting.
Okay. So just a little bit about my childhood. My mom was born in Fiji. Dad's from India. So I grew up here in Vancouver. Had a lot of family with me growing up. When I was in high school, I was quite overweight. Never really took care of my health. All the money that my parents would give me for lunch was pretty much used for a vending machine or fast food restaurants, like going to KFC, going to McDonald's. So I never really took care of my health. After I graduated high school, I enrolled into some health science courses at Douglas College. I met some great professors that really changed my perspective on fitness. So once I took those courses, I really wanted to lose weight. I did my research, talked to my instructors, talked to personal trainers, and just started exercising on a regular basis. Once I started doing that, I really got into powerlifting and just started competing from there. Did my first show in 2016 in Abbotsford. Finished in second place in bench press. Even though I finished in second place, I really liked the atmosphere, the competition. So from 2016, I competed in BC provincials, finished first there. Competed in Western Canada for powerlifting, finished first there. And in 2019, I represented Canada in powerlifting at the North American Powerlifting Championship. Got gold for Canada there, and also competed at Commonwealth Powerlifting in 2019 in Newfoundland and got silver for Team Canada.
Wow, the great achievement.
Yeah.
Sumit, and then you said you have been in a corrections officer for 10 years. So when did that happen?
So once I graduated from Kwantlen Polytech, got my degree in criminology, I actually moved to Prince George. I was there for about a year. It was tough getting a job then. So my family was quite encouraging me in whatever I wanted to do. So I moved to Prince George for a year. I started working there in corrections. This was back in 2014. Did about a year there, and then made my way back here, and just been working down here locally in corrections ever since.
So how was your experience like living here, and did you go to Prince George by yourself?
Yeah. So it was basically starting from scratch. Relocating right after college, getting an apartment, meeting new people, making new friends. So it's something brand new, but I enjoyed every moment that I was in Prince George. It was it's a small town. Like you go from a big city in Vancouver, where basically you go to a small town, everything shuts down at 10 p.m. So it was quite the adjustment, but but the good thing was I worked on the 4-and-4 rotation, so whenever I wanted to, I could always come back home.
Come back home for 4. So when you were on your own in Prince George, did you learn to cook and all those stuff for yourself, or did you know that before?
No, it was mostly, honestly, I think it was mostly just doing takeouts here and then. But when I had to learn how to cook was just before marriage.
When you had a cook coming home, that's when you decided you need to learn to cook too. You can have competition in cooking.
So before marriage, I started taking some lessons, learning from family and friends.
Yeah. And then, Sumit, like how, like I remember when I was a victim assistance caseworker, I had an opportunity to go, to pursue education for, to do what you do, a corrections officer, but I thought I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like
A lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility. Like it sounds like such a stressful job.
It is, it is a very stressful job. But when we go through our training, I think our instructors, the management team there for BC Corrections, they do a good job of preparing you for it. I mean, when you once you go into the job after training, I mean, you're still quite nervous, quite because end of the day, these are criminals, right?
Exactly.
But you just gotta, for myself, I had a great management, I had great coworkers that made me able to adjust to the job quite easy. So, just surround yourself with positive people. In my case, I did have a lot of positive people, which made the adjustment a lot more easier.
What were the challenges of the job?
Challenges was, you're just not sure,
Unpredictability.
Yeah, that was one, but also, when I was in school, you read on the books theories and all this stuff like that.
Or movies, right?
Yeah, like you're seeing all these theories and just seeing on the movies how these people are, but when you go in there and you actually see them, it's a whole game changer. But it's an eye opener for sure. But it was a good eye opener. It sort of makes you check it in reality.
And also, I mean, in that setting, if a person is a criminal, but depending, if what that person's done or what that person was outside is not the same of what they're inside when they're in jail, like the personality that you see there is quite different.
The thing with the job is you gotta also, even though that they might, they're a criminal, you gotta put that mindset away and still treat them like a human being, right? So, back when I started 10 years ago, it was that kind of feeling, okay, they're gonna stay a criminal, they're gonna be a criminal. But whereas of now, we're doing more, we're getting away from that kind of thing, getting away from that kind of approach, doing a lot more programming, a lot of more education, trying to educate them, and so it's a new approach that BC Corrections is doing, and I feel it is working. You're reaching out to these criminals, but we don't even call them criminals anymore. We call them clients, right? So we're just trying to get away from them, just trying to educate them and try to make them a better person.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad that you shared that, because you think there are crimes, people do it, but also people want to change their life around. And if they want to change their life around, if there's programs and education, all those, there's every opportunity then available to them so that they can go out in the community again and start rebuilding their life.
There's been situations where the way that you're maybe born, the way that you're brought up, right? You didn't have the right influence. You had a lot of negative people, and that might have, that's not their fault. That's just how they've been brought up, right? So they didn't have an opportunity to go to school and stuff. Like whereas right now, you go if you're in the institution, you're able to achieve your diploma. You're able to, the teachers are coming to the institution and giving them homework. They're able to achieve their diplomas and get educated. So it's up to them if they want the opportunity, but the opportunity is there. And a lot of them, they are they want to they do want to get their diploma, go out there and start working. So it is working.
So you have definitely, in your 10 years, you've seen a shift.
I've seen a shift, right? From from the time I started, it was more just like they are criminals, they're gonna be criminals, but as of right now, it's just getting away from that approach and just giving them an opportunity to educate them more and give them more opportunities that they didn't have before.
Sumit, I want to hear your perspective of, when you, like, what's going on right now, when we look at, turn on the TV, look at news, even in our outside South Asian community, there's so much more gang violence, increase in gang violence, increase in drug and activity and things like that. Like, what do you have to say about that? Like,
it's a shame that of what's going on with all these shootings. But I feel education. I think it needs to be more out there. More outreach programs need to be there. When I got my before COVID happened, actually, I was actually going to schools, giving presentations to local high schools, elementary schools. Taking time out of my time just to educate them, and I feel that if I know they do have programs out there from like police officers coming in, but I feel if they carry on with that kind of approach, I think it will send a message to the younger generation, and if these police departments or go to schools and educate the younger generation. They are, but if they do more, I feel it will send a strong message to the youth.
And I have one more question in relation to that is, parents coming from different countries and all not able to recognize this, like, are there supports or supports for parents in the community to, to become aware, to learn about, what are some of the signs and symptoms to look for if, they suspect their children could be getting involved in gang-related activities and things like that. Are there supports there?
It's like as far as like what to, sometimes parents don't even know of what's going
that's the
on,
thing, right?
And you just don't know what your son or daughter are doing, right? But for me growing up, I surrounded myself with a lot of family members, a lot of cousins growing up, and just my parents put me in a lot of sports, kept me busy. And I had a great inner circle of friends, and that's what I would encourage parents to do is surround their children with positive people, with a lot of activities, make sure that their inner circle is good. Like growing up for myself, when I was in high school, my dad would always, even though we had parents teacher night, he would always go like maybe 2-3 times a year to check in with my high school counselor, make sure that I was doing okay, who I was hanging out with. I know it sounds a little tough, but end of the day, he was doing a good job as a parent to make sure that my inner circle was good, everything that everything is going good with the flow. So, that's one thing I'd also encourage is as a parent, you can always go to local high school, talk to the counselor on a regular basis, see how their child is doing, and see what they can do as a parent.
So
get involved,
be involved in the child's life, in all aspect of them, at the school or or like
sometimes
in sports.
If the school counselor, they can deal with it, but get involved yourself. Give that time yourself. It's very important.
It only takes a couple of minutes, right?
And so you growing up, you said like you were overweight, and then you took courses, and you shifted your mindset of getting healthy. So when you were kind of like going through high school and stuff, how was that, and how did you know at that time this is what I want to do? What were your kind of goals at that time?
I think for myself back in high school, I didn't really have goals. It's just back then I just didn't really care what I ate, just mostly just junk food, a lot of fast food, going to KFC, a lot of McDonald's. Didn't really have the education I felt back then, right? But I think now, teachers are doing a lot better job of educating kids about that. And, that's what I go when I, before COVID happened, I was going to local schools, elementary schools, and educating kids about eating habits, just making sure that these kids don't make the same mistake that I did, right? So, that's what I encourage kids to do is, rather than eating all this deep fried food, there's good products out there to eat as well, right? So.
And I think also like, I'm thinking as a parent, when my children were younger, I could feed them whatever.
Yeah.
As they grew older, they chose what they're gonna eat or not eat, even though they were eating the same things before, but now it's like almost not cool to eat carrots, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool to go to, I'm a teenager now, it's cool to have KFC.
Yeah.
Well, now when you have all these skip the dishes and all
Yeah,
that, you know, it's so
everything.
accessible,
So
right?
Yeah.
accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you went into corrections, or you did criminology. Were you always, like, as a child, you know, we kind of think this is the path I want to take, or this is what I want to do in life, or be in life? Was that what you were aiming towards, or did that kind of change?
I think originally when I finished high school, I wanted to go into business. My parents work in they have their own business, so my mind was already made up that I was going to go into business. So I took some courses, and but I didn't really have the interest. So I took some criminology courses just on the side as an elective. But once I took that as an elective, that really changed my perspective on where I wanted to go with my career. So I just shifted. Rather than going to business, I decided I wanted to go in the criminal justice field. So I met some great professors again at Douglas College that really changed my perspective on academics. I guess it was just meeting the right people, meeting the right instructors that really changed my perspective on what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah, and I know you talk about, like that you started getting healthy, you started becoming a weight training and whatnot. Talk about some of the struggles that went on, because obviously it's a journey. It's it's hard work.
It was it was hard work for sure, because I remember when I first graduated from high school, so that was maybe like 16, 17 years old, and I was weighing in, again, this is not me exercise, this is just me eating unhealthy food. I was weighing in about 210 pounds. At that age, that's quite heavy, right?
Yeah.
And for my height back then, so it's quite, that was quite overweight. And so I took some, like I said, I took some courses at Douglas College, really educated myself, and I was really determined that I wanted to lose some weight. So within a period of 6 to 8 months, I went from 210 all the way down to 173.
Wow.
And that was strictly just, it took a lot of time, took a lot of patience. But I went from eating all, McDonald's, pizza, just burgers, to eating, just a lot of protein. Like chicken, veggies, cutting down on cheese, and then even in the Indian food, there's like a lot of butter.
Butter, sugar.
Yeah, so I just cut down on
Sugar,
that.
oil.
Yeah, so I cut down on that as well.
And sometimes, like, as parents, we tell our child, lose weight, but until, I guess, something inside them, or you, the child.
Yeah.
So what helped you? You had your professors. How was home-wise, your parents? Are you overweight? Was it, I guess you didn't have the education from home. I mean, most of us didn't, right?
No.
Like exercising, not like we do now, exercise, living a healthy lifestyle. It wasn't kind of talked about.
No, it wasn't. It was just, like how parents will be.
Yeah.
They just give you food, you eat it, and that's what. But it really had, I needed to be really determined, right? You really had to go.
Yeah.
You had to be really driven for this, right? So for me, it was, setting goals for myself. So even though I weighed in about 210, I went to the gym, talked to trainers, did my education on the internet, talked to my instructors, and so for example, what I did was like, all right, I'm not going to do any weightlifting. I'm just going to do a lot of running. Take it day by day. So here's, I'm weighing in 210. Hopefully within 3 weeks, I'm down to 205. So I did that. Once I reached my goal, I'm like, okay, this is very doable. This is looking, I reached 205. Let's go down to 195. So I kept on doing those goals, and just whenever I reached my goal, I just got very encouraged and just carried on with it. When I hit 173, I think I got too skinny, because then I started getting comments like, "Are you on something now?"
What happened to you?
Yeah. So from there.
Where's the other part of skinny?
Yeah. So from there, then I started going into powerlifting. Talking to trainers, bodybuilders, powerlifters, and then just started going from there.
Sumit, I want to ask you, so corrections officer, that's a full-time job,
Yeah.
and then powerlifting representing
Yeah.
Canada,
Yeah.
that's a full-time job, and you mentioned marriage, like
Yeah.
how,
And then.
what do you do in 24 hours?
And then we go out and we, like on our, started doing a lot of donating a lot of food items, right? Like
some volunteer work, community work, right? Service.
Yeah. So just the good thing is like because I work on a 4 and 4 rotation, that sort of helps out my schedule. I was able to I'm able to work out, be able to adjust my personal life and my fitness. So just the rotation of work really helps me out with everything.
And so for the rotation that you have, like sometimes you do nights, sometimes you do days. So how's that kind of on your body, your system, taking care of yourself?
It can take a toll on you, but the good thing about BC Corrections is that the management really supports me of what I've been doing with powerlifting. They're really supportive. So sometimes they're able to adjust my schedule, so I'm able to get sleep at home rather than at work. I'm able to they do a good job of accommodating me, and because of that, I'm able to take care of my health and just cater to the community.
And there's a lot of people that struggle, with weight, and especially youth, like teenagers at your age. So what would you suggest, or what can you say to parents who have kids or a child and they want to help them be healthy?
For parents, I would say get involved. For my end, like my parents, they're you can say they're traditional, right? But, I tell parents to get involved, right? Sort of educate themselves a little bit too, right? But just make sure the kids are eating right. Just cut down on the oil and the butter, like you guys were saying, and just make sure there's a lot of proper food out there that can be catered to the kids these days. Because in the Indian culture, there's high blood pressure, there's high diabetes going around, and stuff like that. So it's just.
And I think when you think about traditionally, in the Indian culture we make a lot of curries and things like that, and traditionally curries go with rice and roti and naan and things like that, right? So I think it's very important that we make changes of how we prepare our food, because it's a side of broccoli is not gonna go with butter chicken, it's not gonna go well. So
like even like for example, like with bodybuilding. And powerlifters, they eat a lot of like tandoori chicken, so there's good items there involved too, but you just gotta educate yourself, that's all.
And also taking care of yourself, like it doesn't mean that you can just put whatever, and it's not just count the calories, also be physically active. It doesn't matter what you're eating. You're not eating to punish yourself. You should always take care of yourself, physically take care of yourself.
It just educate yourself. You down the road you don't want to, like long-term wise, you don't want to have high blood pressure, diabetes or whatnot. So it's better just as a young age just to get in the habit of eating right and just taking care of yourself.
And what helped you build your confidence?
For me, it was when I started losing weight on a regular basis. That really helped me. Once I was able to know that I can capture my goals, that really built my confidence. That built a lot of, that gave me a lot of motivation. So once I had lost all the weight, I wanted to go into my powerlifting. And once I started competing in powerlifting and I started winning those medals, that really gave me the boost that I needed to make sure that I could overcome anything.
And what was also accomplishing so much with your weightlifting, and now you're going to compete in October. So how do you find like your surroundings, your peers, your people, family? How is that taken? Like you get a lot of attention, like a big shift from where you were as a teenager. How is that?
Right now, I feel like I've surrounded myself with great positive people. Like I competed back in 2016 to all the way to 2021. I have a lot of positive people here. Like right now, even like when it comes to eating right, like my sponsors, Foodie Fit, they pretty much give me meals to make sure that everything's right on track. So when it comes for the show, my weight cuts there. I've surrounded myself with like when people when for example, a Supplement King, they're owned by law enforcement.
Okay.
So once they came to know that I work for BC Corrections, they contacted me. They're like, hey, well, how can we help in any other way? So they're actually being my sponsors to actually go to Costa Rica. But prior to that, they also came on board when I found out that I was working for BC Corrections, and they actually donated a lot of their products to the healthcare workers. So you know, at the end of the day, just surround yourself with positive people. And then everything.
Yeah, and it's great that a lot of community partners are getting involved and motivating and helping and assisting, sponsoring.
Yeah.
So making that easier.
Yeah. So it's just once people became aware of this initiative of going to these healthcare workers, going to the teachers, a lot of people wanted to give back. So they actually they touched base with me on how they can get involved, and I just told them, I'm like, you can contact the school, you can contact a local hospital. They'll be more than happy to come on board.
You know what? I applaud your discipline. Because I'm thinking, I get so sucked into temptations. It's like, it's like I know, I'm aware, I do take care of it, but I also have temptations that I give into so easily.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I got sucked into when the COVID first started, right? Because everything got shut down, the gyms got shut down. So I'm guilty as well. But you just got to be motivated.
Go and get back on the bandwagon, right?
So one bad. I mean, sometimes you have that one bad day or whatever. It doesn't mean that it's all gone to waste. So get back on track.
It's like, you know what? I see people who have got a eating schedule, and then they have the cheating days. It's like, you have cut down so much for 6 days. You're doing so good on the cheating days. You have undone everything that you did. So eating is a lifestyle change. It cannot be just one day you do this and the other day you can
No.
So you
So very nice having you in the studio, and great to hear such positivity and motivation. And all the best next month.
I know you've done so much in competition.
Thank you.
Gold for Canada.
Thank you.
So all the best, and thanks for being on MindSense.
All right, well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, this is your host, Meena J.
मैं हूँ आपकी host, Sarita Chand.